things are getting heated up at the moment. Northern Elders Forum, NEF, has called on Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, the president of Nigeria, to resign for failure to combat increasing insecurity in the country. The call came just as the Senate rose from a marathon debate on last Saturday's beheading of over 67 farmers in Borno State. This is not the first time this massacre, in fact, one happened recently in Lekki Tollgate, and you might think the people who perpetrated this are not terrorists. It doesn't matter if they are putting on military uniform or police uniform. A terrorist is a terrorist. How do you define terrorists? By their action, not by the clothes they put on or uniform they put on. Action determines who is a terrorist. And I think a lot of people are getting tired amidst the NSAS protests and a lot of things. And right now, the Northerners are coming up to speak about this. And I hope what they are saying, they mean it. The federal government had breached Section 14, subsection 1, which made security and welfare the sole purpose of its existence. The fury in the Red Chamber reverberated in the House of Representatives, where members talked about worsening insecurity in the polity and in Nigeria. They moved to summon President Muhammadu Buhari to appear in the House over the killing at Zabamari village in Jere local government area of Borno State. Northern Elders, in a statement on Tuesday by its Director of Publicity and Advocacy, Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed, noted that life had lost its value under the present administration due to the absence of political will to fight the Boko Haram insurgency and other threats, such as banditry, rustling, and kidnapping. Referring to the massacre of innocent farmers in Zabamari, the forum regretted that Buhari had failed to listen to concerns from many Nigerians about the level of insecurity in the nation. It lamented that killings had been greeted by most insensitive response by spokespersons of the president. Of course, you know them. You know they come out to speak funny. One of them said, we should be grateful to Buhari because the terrorists are no longer using explosives to kill people, but now they are making use of swords, knife, machete to cut off the necks of the people, such as what has been done recently. And when I listened to all of this, I was shocked. I was flabbergasted. This is insensitive. This is terrible. They described this as a lame excuse that murdered farmers did not seek permission from the military to harvest produce. So it means before you go to sow, you need to call in the military to protect you. That's what's happening in the north for people who do not know. And when you need to harvest, you need to call the military before you go in there. That is because the terrorists are now ransacking farms and they're abducting farmers, and farmers have to pay a certain amount of money before you sow. And when you are about to harvest, you have to give those terrorists some amount of money. These killings, they said, and the reality they suppose will make relocation of citizens and resumption of economic activities to a lot more difficult to achieve, even for leadership that attaches priority to them. And this administration does not. Elsewhere, in many parts of the north, many farming communities have not been allowed by bandits and kidnappers to plant crops. The forum warned of imminent famine in the face of limited production of food in the region. Under this administration, life has lost its value, and more citizens are coming under the influence of criminals. We do not see any evidence of willingness on the part of Major General Muhammadu Buhari, the president of Nigeria, to honor his oath to provide security over Nigerians. In civilized nations, leaders who fail to spectacularly provide security will do the honorable thing and resign. At the Senate, lawmakers condemned President Buhari for failing to fire the nation's service chiefs as demanded in the past. Senators argued that the continued retention of the military top brass by Buhari implied the president, as the commander-in-chief of the country, had failed in his most primary assignment of securing the nation. They made a declaration while adopting a motion sponsored by a former Borno State governor, Senator Kashim Shettima. Senate equally adopted the position that any government that could not discharge the basic obligation of securing citizens was not worthy of legitimacy. Rejecting the figure of 43 earlier released as the number of slain farmers, the upper chamber said it got more authentic figure of 67 from residents of Kwashabi village in Zabamari, where the killings took place. And aside this, Boko Haram made a video and they talked about the number of people they beheaded. And their claim is that these people did not pay what they need to pay. They talked about these people handing over some of their people, that is some of the people who come to extort money from them, to the military or give out information. That is the reason why. And they also talked about the military killing some of their people. That's the reason why they beheaded 67 people, and I think counting. It urged the president to probe the allegations of corruption and leakages within the security structure and put mechanism in place to foster transparency and ensure all resources meant and deployed for security were used for the purpose. It also urged Buhari to take immediate steps to restructure, remodel, and revamp the security architecture and provide modern weapons and equipment to combat the insurgents. The federal government, it stated, should aggressively explore multilateral and bilateral options of partnership with neighboring nations such as Chad, Niger, and Cameroon towards reviving and strengthening the joint task force, finding a lasting solution to the scourge of insurgency in the Lake Chad region. It also urged the federal government to recruit not fewer than 10,000 civilian JTL versatile people who know the local terrain in that state to complement the efforts of the Nigerian armed forces. And I think it's a very, very, very important one. I think the military, I'm talking about the foot soldiers, they are people who are sacrificing their lives, but the top brass in the military are not ready to put an end to insurgency or Boko Haram, as they make money from this, aside weapons procurement. They also make money from kidnapping and ransom and all of this. They make a lot of money. So it's not just the military, the civilian government, the military top brass, and of course certain groups of people, monarchs and religious leaders. Some few targeted groups are out there. And when I say targeted, I mean some people have called them out, but nothing has been done till today. These are the group of people who are keeping terrorism alive. How can the just check out the huge chest fund and military might that we have? How is it difficult to combat and crush terrorism? I understand that there are some complex things, but if they had worked as it should, I don't think we will have this huge number of terrorists, and they are so bold. They are not afraid. They are out there ready to kill anybody at any time because they've been given opportunity. Rather than the federal government killing terrorists for what they are granting them amnesty. They are trying to relate this to what happened in the Niger Delta and all of that. Yes, I understand all of these things, but when you look at the mode and the manner at which these terrorists operate, you will be shocked. Yes, these things happened in the south side of Nigeria, spilled over to the southeast, spilled over to the south. In general, these things happened. People were kidnapped for ransom. It became a business back then. Of course, few of these things are there, but it has reduced a little bit. But the North has taken over this, and it is terrible. They murder for just anything. They murder for anything. They kidnap. They do nefarious things. Terrible things are happening there in the North. These guys are hell-bent on shutting down the north of Nigeria. And if the Northerners do not rise up, there will be nobody in the north anymore. Maybe Buhari will want to open the border more for some of his kinsmen to come in to fill up the ones that have been killed. It is better they rise up. Rise up, Castina. Rise up, Borno State. Rise up, all of these places. Rise up. Enough is enough. If you want to close your eyes and continue staying in that situation, as you can see, Buhari is not ready to do anything. That's it. Former Senate leader Ali Dume told plenary that Borno residents paid Boko Haram members before they would be allowed to go to their farms or move around in their village. He said the issue of insecurity has been there. We have sent recommendations to the president. 2 reports were not implemented. There are other recommendations we have made and nothing was done. We need to take a step further. Section 14 of the Constitution is clear. He argued that terrorism could be stopped in 6 months if government was serious. So you can see that some of them are tired. Many of these senators cannot even stay in their region anymore. They are afraid. They cannot. Most of them stay in Abuja, in certain locations that have security, or they stay in the south. That's where they live. They cannot live in the north anymore, as they are afraid that anything can happen to them. So I hope the senators from the north will rise to this and begin to expose, call names of people who you know are part of this scheme. Call their names out so that you will live, unless you will all be dead.